The year is 2016. I'm looking for new quality content on YouTube. It's been lacking lately, I'm not gonna lie. It's the same thing re uploaded, drama this, drama that. I just want something that I can laugh at. There's one name in particular that keeps coming up in the videos, in all of these people's reactions. There's a bunch of memes based off this guy, and I don't even know his name. Who am I talking about, you may ask? I'm talking about the one, the only, Filthy Frank TV. The man, the myth, the legend himself. Unaware of the cesspool that I'm about to enter, I go ahead and type in Filthy Frank TV on my search bar. Without having any background knowledge on this man or his subject matter, I go ahead and click on the video Human Cake. After surviving the world war that was that video, I go ahead and look into this man's content because I am definitely intrigued. I definitely need to see what he is about after this. In all seriousness though, I am a fan of the Filthy Frank YouTube channel. I do enjoy the content. I watch it as soon as it comes out because I think it's a piece of art. I like the YouTube content 10 out of 10. But the one person that we never get to see that I am sure most of the fans of this channel are extremely interested in is George or Joji. I'm not really sure which one he prefers to go by, so I'm just going to use George for the sake of this video. Now, we never really get to hear much from George in these videos because, again, the channel is really based about the character Filthy Frank. But as I started to do more research into this YouTube channel, I start to learn that there were other YouTube channels based off of the character Filthy Frank, such as Disaster Music and Joji Vlogs. Now, Joji Vlogs was a YouTube channel that was extremely short-lived. I think it had either 10 or 11 videos on it, but we never really got to see much out of this YouTube channel. One of the reasons that I think that is because you can see in these videos that George was trying to, give a little bit of backstory to his life and, open up to the fans of his channel and really let them see who he is when he's not being Filthy Frank. But it was impossible for the fans to break away from the meme that is Filthy Frank. Even when he was trying to be serious with his audience and his fan base, they were still, oh, where's the Filthy Frank? Oh, Filthy Frank this, Filthy Frank that. For them, it was extremely difficult to differentiate between George and Filthy Frank. One video that at this point is about a year old that I think is extremely interesting is the Needle Drop podcast video where Anthony Fantano brought on George Miller to discuss his channel and discuss his visions for Filthy Frank and where he sees the living meme going from here. When Anthony Fantano questioned George about his relationship with his fan base, he made it very clear that he likes to keep his relationship professional. I know that seems kind of weird coming from someone like George who makes the Filthy Frank content, which is definitely as far as it gets from professional. But what he meant by saying that was he likes to keep it a business relationship. He doesn't like interacting with his fans as much as other YouTubers who are notorious for being deeply involved with their fan base. Their fan base is a community where everything is shared and it's a safe space for YouTube. Even when George was saying this on the podcast, I still felt that at one point, for him, that wasn't always the case. In the past, it's very clear that George had made attempts to try and connect with his fan base and give them a little bit of backstory to his life and how he goes about living on a day-to-day basis. But what I feel discouraged George from continuing to connect with his fan base on that level was, again, the fact that it was so hard for them to differentiate when he was being serious and when he was being the character Filthy Frank. One of the reasons that I feel like this sucks is I think that George is an interesting person. It's clear to see his personality shine through the character Filthy Frank in a very narcissistic and cynical way that obviously doesn't 100% convey his true emotions, but in a way you can see through all the memes and through all of the jokes and racist references some of George's actual real life opinions on certain situations and things that are going on worldwide. From what I can tell, just seeing a little bit, even the smallest pinch of George's personality in his videos, he's a pretty eclectic guy and he has a very diverse range of opinions and thoughts on certain topics. So it would be cool to see someone like him actually voice opinions and give his narrative on things that happen to everyone. And I feel like it's a shame that his fans have ruined that for him because it was pretty obvious at one point that was his intention, to slowly break away from the meme and establish a real connection with the people that gave him a platform to stand on. But that personality and that little pinch of George started to slowly fade away as it was apparent that people weren't interested in getting to know him as a person. They just wanted to see him do the crazy, outlandish things as the character Filthy Frank. One of the things that George also talked about when he was on the Needle Drop podcast is that his fan base is much more extreme than other fan bases are, as opposed to someone like Tyler Oakley's fan base, who is again a YouTube safe space. They're very connected. They all are about positivity and they like seeing each other grow and develop positively as people. His fan base is literally a dying horse, just getting beaten and kicked repeatedly every day. And there is no sense of like moral fiber or, political correctness with his fan base. They will fly off the handle and say anything they want to whoever they want because the whole point of his channel is to be offensive in whatever way, shape, or form that can be achieved. One thing that I think is really true that a lot of people don't know or they just refuse to acknowledge is that Filthy Frank is not an accurate representation of George at all. Filthy Frank is a satirical character and stereotype that should never be wished to be achieved by anyone. You should never want to be a Filthy Frank because clearly his opinions are outlandish, racist, bigoted, but George knows that. That's the whole point of the character, and that's the appeal of Filthy Frank is it's offensive. That is what it is there for. If you are offended, it is achieving its goal. George also talks about how he aspires to be taken seriously as an artist and a comedian in the future because however many years down the line, if he is asked to meet a girl's parents, he wants to have something that he can be proud to tell them and he can be proud of being a part of. But obviously, Filthy Frank is not the most family friendly content, and you definitely don't go showing that to your grandma. That's not how that works. One thing that I always found interesting about George, especially on a musical level, is it's pretty clear that he has talent and that he strives to achieve something greater as a musician down the line. He has the skill to do it, and I feel like it's well within the realm of possibility for him to achieve. But while the Filthy Frank brand and the Filthy Frank meme is still alive and well, it's just so difficult to break away from that. One thing that a lot of people definitely don't realize or I think even care about is in order to really make something that's genuinely funny on a satirical level, you have to have a deep understanding of the inner workings of what makes that so able to be over exaggerated and so over the top and clearly misrepresented. Satirical content that's like Filthy Franks is like drawing a caricature of something in real time and displaying it in its features in a real situation and real life setting where you can obviously see how that interacts with things that are real and not being satirically played off of. That's why I think a lot of people like seeing the stuff that Filthy Frank does in public when he's around other people who aren't exaggerated and are just being themselves. Because in those situations, it's clear to see the contrast between an exaggerated caricature of something like Filthy Frank is and just a normal person who's going about their day-to-day business living their life. This is the part of Filthy Frank that I think is extremely hidden from the public eye, because when you don't know anything about him or know anything about George, you just see the memes, the stuff that gets shared on Facebook or that you see edited into other people's YouTube videos. You don't really get a deep understanding of the message that's conveyed through Filthy Frank, and you don't get to see the side of George that no one gets to see, unfortunately, because they have ruined that for themselves. This is the little underlying part of the Filthy Frank channel that I think is a little bit more sad and genuine and definitely misrepresented. There's the meme and the crazy exaggerated character that is Filthy Frank, and then there's the very human and very real person that is consistently overshadowed, that is George. I don't know, that's just my opinion on the subject, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like it's a little bit easier to talk about when you're not in the crosshair and the mayhem in the mosh pit that is the Filthy Frank community, like George is. Let's be real, George will never see this video, so it doesn't really matter what I think anyways. I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation with you guys about it and get your honest opinion. By the way, guys, I told a big fat cheeser of a lie in my last video. I said I was going to be uploading on a weekly schedule, which would imply that you're getting one video a week, but I'm gonna start grinding and taking this a lot more seriously because it's obvious you guys are just gonna keep being legends as long as I'm making this content. So from here on out, I am going to be coming at you with videos once every other day until further notice. So keep that in mind when you make your decision to subscribe to the channel. You are going to be getting some content all the time. With that being said, guys, you guys have been absolute legends over the course of these past couple weeks. As of today, the Chronexia original video has 4,000 views on it. That's so mind-blowing to me. And the video that I uploaded just 2 days ago is almost at 100 views with 0 dislikes. The support for this infant of a YouTube channel is overwhelming for me, and I'm super grateful to you guys for it. Thank you so much. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I do want you guys' opinion about this topic. That's kind of the whole point of this video. I'd like to start a conversation about it and see what you guys think about the situation. But as always, guys, this has been Mr. Yummy Sushi, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara, guys.